Here's the tiny protection stack that wealthy families use. Simplified for the rest of us, so one accident doesn't erase 10 years of progress. Number one, consider umbrella insurance. This is like a $1 to $2 million shield. Now, you can add this $1 to $2 million umbrella on top of your auto or home or landlord policies. It's designed for the rare, expensive lawsuit, exactly the risk that ruins a plan. And by the way, it's so cheap. It's dollars. When I discovered how cheap these are, they're so cheap for the umbrella insurance relative to the other insurance you're paying. Match your underlying liability limit. So raise your auto, your home liability to qualify. You can ask the insurance representative for this. Add household drivers, list your properties, anything that you have in terms of assets that you want to insure, and review this yearly, because you might have something might have changed. Maybe you had a boat, maybe you no longer have a boat, maybe you have a car, maybe you no longer have a car. Review it yearly just in case. Just talk to your insurance rep, update it. Now, in terms of an insurance shop play, so price, coverage, and services are three levers. So shop all three yearly. So the process is that you want to pull your current declarations pages and ask at an independent broker for 3 quotes per policy. If you've got car, home, landlord, short-term rental, umbrella, you name it, right? Whatever it is. Now, the coverage aims you want to make sure that you've got adequate liability limits, whether it's like uninsured motorist or underinsured motorist are 2 different ones on cars. What are the replacement costs is on homes or landlord policies? The correct short-term rental endorsement, if applicable. Sometimes they tell you can only rent it certain number of days a year. I found out that the hard way, so be sure that you get the right policies. And if applicable, if you add flood or earthquake, if you're in those kind of areas, if those kind of risks exist. Again, this is not in standard home policies, but just be sure that you do it the right way. Again, I'm not a licensed insurance agent. If you want to get insurance advice, you should speak to a licensed insurance agent. This is just my experience I'm sharing with you guys from years of experience. Just personal opinion, not to be taken as actual legal advice or insurance or financial advice. Now, certain money moves that you can do to raise deductibles, like that's one thing. Like raising deductibles, like you could comfortably pay. So make sure that you don't like raise deductibles to like 100 grand, something silly like that. Like the stuff that you know that in a stick you could actually pay this, and that'll lower your monthly. Now make sure that you bundle the value where it's cheaper. So maybe having the same insurance company that's basically having your house as well as your car, things like that. Just drop any kind of junk add-ons. There's extra things they're adding on you don't need. Maybe like you've got multiple cars and you don't really need a rental car as if that jacks at your insurance. Like you don't need like insurance for a rental car, like 30 days. I need a loaner car. Well, I don't need a loaner car if I got multiple cars. If I live with a spouse or family members, maybe you can get by for a while. Like they did in the past, so I'm sure you'll be fine, right? So that's way, if you really are trying to cut costs, that's one key way of doing it. It's actually way cheaper to do that, things like that. And also thinking about calendaring all this. Like every 12 months I do this. Like I reshop, not just for insurance, by the way, for other things, utilities, internet, etc., phone, etc. But insurance is a key thing. Now, also one thing, especially in our modern age, is cybersecurity or identification. So freeze your credit. There's the 3 main ones in the US, like TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Go on, freeze the credit. Ask someone, if you're not tech savvy, ask someone to do it for you, but definitely freeze your credit, because all of a sudden someone else can use it. Your court score drops and it takes ages to fix it out. So much better to do that. You can also check your credit once a year for free without anything dinging your score. Now, another thing to think about doing is adding an identity or ID restoration if it's not already included. That all has to do with cyber and ID theft. Now, I saved thousands reshopping. I also freeze my credit, but I've saved thousands. So it's proof that it's worth the calls. My mother used to do this for years and years and years. Every year she'd ring around. She had the cheapest insurance. And every year the insurance is going up. Oh, inflation. Oh, the cost. Oh, blah, blah, blah. But she would ring around and she would bring it back down and bring it back down and bring it back down. And you can do the same too. You can do it with phone. You can do it with internet. But insurance is a big line item for most people. So this is worth your time. Unless you're someone like Tony Robbins earning thousands of dollars an hour, this is worth your time because you can save thousands, quite literally, doing this. I have, you can. Even when you don't have many properties or any property, even if you just have one car, even if whatever it is, you'll save hundreds, right? You'll save at least a few bucks by shopping around if you've got next to no insurance. But if you do have like at least one property, at least one car, that's where the savings start to kick in. The more you have, the bigger the savings from ringing around. I can't guarantee it, but I will say it's one of the biggest tricks that I use every year. Every year I feel great because I lower the fixed costs constantly, or if it's going up, I hold it at the same. So even though other things going up with inflation, I'm holding a lot of things constant, and that is a game changer for me every single year without fail. Now, beyond this, titles, beneficiaries, even a simple will. So most people, they don't need exotic trusts to get 80% of the benefit. So do this week. Just add a beneficiary or like a transfer on death if you die, or an investment, a brokerage. For a lot of these things, they may be for checking accounts, some are for investment. Something like a payable on death, that's more to do with banking or credit unions as opposed to transfer on debt, which is more investment and brokerage. Just make sure that you've added these things in terms of the designations, like who is going to get it, right, to your bank or brokerage retirement accounts, because it can be really difficult afterwards. To just create a simple will and a medical or financial power of attorney. So in case you're incapacitated, a certain surgeon has the right to make a decision. Or in case you're incapacitated, someone else has the right to make financial decisions, because you could be, God forbid, you could be in a coma or you could be brain dead essentially, or something like that, like a vegetative status. So these things, I know, we should do them. And honestly, like when my aunt, she's a lawyer, I spoke to her about this, and she said sometimes, this is not legal advice, but she said sometimes you can just write a page, a few little things, you can get like AI, check it with it, and it's better than having nothing. I'm not going to advise it. I'm just going to say what I've done, and it took me a few minutes, and then I went and I found two people who were not related to the will. They weren't going to benefit, because you have to get people in Ireland, you have to get people who don't benefit from the will to sign this. I mean, I went into my gym and got random people to sign it. So, it covers me basically. It's not great, but it's better than nothing if you've got no money. Now, you want to check this with an attorney. You want to check this all yourself. This is just a simple hack that I did. The next stage is to basically go and do it properly with an actual attorney. So just keeping a one page of in case of emergency sheet. I have this like Empower, like these different apps where I've got all my logins or I've got all my accounts, and I have them safe, or I have them in a safe that basically if there's a fire, basically everything burns down, it won't get burned down, it's inside the safe, things like that, or inscribing it like on a metal, like that's what people do in crypto, etc., the passwords. So having a one page in case of emergency sheet, logins, key people, policy numbers, because I have so many things that it would be horrid for my loved ones to go through afterwards. So keeping it simple really helps them, and also means that they get it, not the state. Now, LLC basics, so this is for side hustles or for rental properties or anything else you're doing. Either you're doing it as a side hustle, rental, or this is your main thing. LLCs is like a fence. It's not a fortress. It just separates business from personal if you do it correctly. So opening up a single member LLC for your business or your rental, getting an employer identification number, EIN, separating the bank account like a business bank account after the EIN, a simple operating agreement. Like I have videos on this, so it's just looking at the basics. You can do this very, very cheaply, okay? Just a few $100. Title, come up with a title like and make sure that you put the new business use assets inside the LLC. Sign contracts as the member of the LLC. Keep clean books. For short-term rentals, you might want to use the correct landlord or short-term rental policy. Make sure that you obey the local compliance and all the written house rules. Trusts, very advanced. Now, this is what the average person needs. So something like a revocable living trust, this avoids probate, right? Where the government after death, they're trying to go to the court and try to figure out who gets what. Rather than the court deciding, you get to decide, right? So this avoids all that. Just keeps things organized. It doesn't, by the way, provide full asset protection, but it's a first step towards that direction. So put the house, maybe their brokerage in it, consider doing that. Consider keeping beneficiary designations on retirement accounts. And the alternative is something like an irrevocable trust. Here is like true asset protection and tax planning, but you do give up the actual control. This is an advanced topic. This would be for a separate video, but you might want to look into irrevocable trusts. Now, in terms of income protection, this is often bigger than the house. So Term life, this is something that a lot of people like Dave Ramsey and others. So if someone relies on your income, like children, dependents, this could be good. This is like simple level term that covers income and debts, and as well as like children, right, through their independence. And it ends if like, let's say you don't die within that term, then the policy ends. Term life is the default. If someone relies on your income, just buy the simple level term that covers your income, the debts, the children, etc., through their independence.
Whole life.
It's a permanent insurance, essentially, with a cash value component. So it can fit niche goals like estate planning when you're handing off your stuff to your dependents. Let's say your inheritance, so you're giving stuff away after you die. Special needs protection, or a business buying and selling. And look, it's expensive and it's slow to build value. But if you've ever heard of family bank or infinite banking or borrow from yourself rather than the bank, remember that you're borrowing against the policy and you're paying interest. It's not free money, but for most families, the term and invest the difference, that's usually what they do. Consider whole life only if you have a permanent insurance need and you're already maxed out all those cheaper options. Now, disability insurance, this is like on your own occupation, whatever it is you're working at. If this is possible, this could be great because your greatest asset is your future earnings. If you're a pianist, you insure your fingers. If you're a dancer, you insure your legs, right? I'm sure it's the same in the trades, right? If you really think about this. Disability insurance is very important. For me, I don't do this, but it could be my eyesight for reading as an academic, etc., right? So do these 5, and you've already built a real moat. It's cheap, it's boring, but it's powerful.